All right, class. So I know we're navigating the interface, right, of email software. I did want to take an opportunity in this demo to talk about email etiquette. So I'll be linking a video in the playlist on email etiquette. I probably will also be making an assignment, so look out for an assignment on that. But just as important as using this software is writing these emails in the correct professional manner. It's something I've already noticed some of our students struggle with in some of the emails I've received. It's a topic I've had with other professors, with professionals who are also professors, right? Who want y'all to get jobs, right? To be successful, but a very important soft skill. Soft skills are basically communication skills, interpersonal skills. So the opposite of almost like technical skills, right? Stuff that you learn to how to do the job. There's also these soft skills, which is just how do you interact, right, with your coworkers, with your boss. So email etiquette is one of those soft skills that we often overlook. So here's some tips on how to write a proper email. So always make sure you have your salutation right. So dear, professor, hello, professor. Um, those are pretty safe bets, right? Always make sure you know the proper title of the person, right? If they're a doctor, right? Always a good idea to say, hey, Doctor so and so, right? And I don't just mean medical doctor, right? I also mean academic doctors, people who got their PhD. You don't have to call me doctor. I only have my master's at this point, so Professor Vitus is just fine. So always make sure to introduce yourself right, especially if it's your first email. Especially if you're not using something like Canvas Inbox. Canvas Inbox, I always recommend it because it automatically shows me who's sending the email. But if you do happen to email me directly for X, Y, and Z reason, make sure you do introduce yourself, say who you are, especially if you're not using your school email. If you are sending an academic email, though, you should be using your school email and not a personal email. All right, so use correct grammar and spelling. Very important, right? These are just basics. Remember, you have tools like ChatGPT. I know there's tools like Grammarly now. Definitely invite you to check those out if you want to be if you want to use extra tools, right, and help to make sure that what you are writing is correct. And then, of course, always have your formal closing. There's more to it, right? Here in this video, they talk about starting with the main point. You always want to make sure that in that first few sentences, it's going to explain everything that the email's about. And then they also talk about subject lines, just like we mentioned. Make sure your subject line tells the person exactly what this email is going to be about, right? Well, the first lines also do that. So I'll give you an example. So let's say you had a problem with Lab 8. You should say, hi, Professor, right? You could definitely go, hi, Professor Byres. Hello, Professor Byres. Either one is fine. And then you'd go, I am reaching out in regards to an issue with the website on lab number 8. Boom, first sentence. I know exactly what this email is going to be about. You had an issue, you're going to explain the issue. So here you go on to explain the issue. I'll put it in quotes, right? So you know that's not literally what I would say, just for the purpose of brevity, right? I'm not going to write out the entire email, and you can separate the ideas by paragraph, right? So you might explain the issue in the first paragraph, and the second paragraph um, you describe what you need. Maybe you need more time, more explanation, right? Maybe you need me to fix it. Who knows? And then, of course, you would always end it with a greeting. I always like to go with best regards. You can go with sincerely, right? Totally invite you to, find whichever one works best for you. You might use different ones in different situations. So best regards, and then William Vitus. And just like that. Keep it short and sweet. Long emails means less likely that the person will read through the whole email and get the information that you want them to read. The truth is, most people don't read emails top to end. We're receiving sometimes hundreds of emails, right, in a week, dozens per day, depending on how important you are, how many hats you're wearing. You're a student, you're a professional, right? Maybe you're receiving emails from you're volunteering, for example. it can be difficult, right, to read through everything. So make sure you also you also do what you would want other people to do, right? Keep those emails short and sweet, efficient, straight to the point. Don't give it too much fluff, like, "Oh, hi, professor. I hope you're having a super nice day. I'm having a good one, right?" I know that's kind, that's friendly, right? Remember, we're trying to get our jobs done. We're trying to do as much as we can with what little time we have. So make sure those emails are straight to the point, while still being right, cordial, kind, right? You don't want to come off as mean. So yeah, make sure you're short. Make sure you're to the point at the beginning, early on. The subject line is as early on as you can get, right? For some of these, all I can read is the subject line. And then for some of these, I can see a little preview of the email, right? They're going to discuss the contract, for example, in this email. In this other email, I might see, let's see, I'm going to learn about curriculum in that email. I'm going to learn about distance learning. So notice, right? And then here it says, like, dear faculty colleagues. So I already know this has to do with professor, some kind of professor task that I have to complete. Uh, Good morning. It says, yeah, so make sure that right in the beginning, as early on as possible, especially if we look at Gmail, you can already see they give me a little bit more of a preview than they do in Outlook, which is nice. So yeah, depending on which email you're using, which software, if you are descriptive at the beginning, you'll save some people time and you'll give them an idea of how important the email is, what it's about. All right, so let's go ahead and continue with the software demo. Again, I'll link some videos, probably make an assignment on email etiquette. Very essential soft skill. A lot of people lack it. All right, so once you do draft your email, always double check the recipients, make sure it's going to who you want it to go to. Remember, carbon copy. If you want them to see the email, maybe it's not directed towards them, right? But you do want them to be able to see and follow on that thread. Blind carbon copy, same thing as carbon copy, but they're not going to see who else is part of the thread. So you're protecting them or the other people, right, from seeing all the different emails. And then, of course, we have our recipient. That's the main person or people. You can add multiple just by typing in other emails. And then you hit send, right, once you're ready. Notice there is a scheduled send. You can actually tell the email when to send. Maybe you wrote the email outside of business hours and you want to send it as soon as business hours kick in. So you might schedule it for tomorrow morning, right? So they get the email as soon as, business hours kick in. So schedule send, very useful if you don't want to send the email right away. If you suddenly, leave this email, right, and you're no longer writing it, it will save to your drafts. So your drafts is that first important folder we're going to discuss, and here's where all your unfinished emails will be. The ones that you started, drafting, just as the keyword there, draft. Started drafting but didn't finish. So I'm going to go ahead and send this email. I'm going to send it to myself. You can actually send emails to yourself. This is useful if you want to share a file with yourself very quickly. You could always email it to yourself. So I'll go ahead and do that next, actually. Let's attach a file. So this little paperclip is how you attach the file. It's kind of the universal attachment. Back when you wanted to attach extra documents, you would paperclip them together, right, before sending them. So yeah, paperclip, universal icon for attachments. So here's where you can add media. So I can browse my computer. I can add documents, a screenshot, a Word document. I can add PDFs. I can add pictures, right? This headshot that I have of me. Screenshots and so forth. Videos. Keep in mind, remember, there are limits to how big an attachment is. Some of these videos right here are very, very large and will exceed the attachment limit. Let's go ahead and see what happens when I try to attach a really big video. Here it is. How do you want to share this file? To send your file, remove large inline images or attachment from this message, or try using OneDrive. So this typically kicks in now with email services. If you try to insert a very large file, it's going to suggest that you do it through the cloud drive. In this case, Microsoft uses OneDrive. Remember, Google uses Google Drive. That's where you would be able to share it. So it'd create um, a file location right in your drive, and then it'll create a link for them to access it. So I'm not going to attach it because it's super big, right? I don't want to create that OneDrive link. Let's go ahead and attach something smaller. So I'm going to go to my documents. Let's go lab number 2. All right, so I can just go ahead and hit send. And sometimes you'll get a notification, sometimes you don't. You can double check, go to your sent items, and then I can see there. As long as it's in your sent items, you know that the item has been sent. So that's another important folder. So besides drafts, those are the ones on deck ready to send. These are the ones you have already sent. Okay, so let's keep moving on with our feature menu for today. So compose send, let's go with reply. All right, so let's see. Let me refresh. Remember, you can refresh your browser here. Always a good idea. Here it is. So this is the email I sent to myself. So let me go ahead and click on it. And notice here it says, hi, professor. And I can see CIS 101. So that subject line already telling me what that email is about. There we go. Can stretch it out. And I do get a little preview. So they have an issue with lab number 8. I can see that from the subject line. I can see that from that initial preview. So that's why it's very important, right? You get to the point early on. If you need more detail, go ahead and do it in the rest of the email. Remember, try to keep it as short as possible. Don't add too much fluff. Of course, while still being polite and cordial. Okay, so how do I reply to an email? So click on the email from your inbox. Remember, your inbox has all your emails, every single one that you received. I click here, and then I have a few buttons. So I have my React button. Now you can react with emojis, modern email feature. Here we have the reply all, and we have the forward. So replies, I'm just going to send an email directly to the person who sent it. Reply all, it's going to reply to everyone. If there was people in the CC, the carbon copy, or the BCC, or additional people in that thread, here's where I would be able to reply to all of them together. That's really useful, right? If you're discussing like a team-wide issue, you definitely go with the reply all. But for the most part, reply should be the one you stick with. So once I hit reply, I can put, oh, hi, William. I'm pretending, right, I'm a student. Thank you for reaching out, for letting me know about this issue. I will go ahead and revise lab number 8 and send an update to the class. Best regards, or I should say Professor Byers, right? Almost forgot. The professor responding to the student. All right, so there you go. Short and sweet, to the point. I'm short without being, dismissive or unkind. I let them know. I thank them for letting me know. And I do want to remind the class, right? I make mistakes on Canvas all the time. Please reach out and let me know. Those students who do catch those mistakes, I definitely keep them in mind for extra credit. You might have already seen some of you have received extra credit for the class. So it is a grading category that will be added at the end of the class. I'll be adding it to like your lowest, quiz grade or lab grades or so forth. So yeah, appreciate any of you who have been emailing me, letting me know any issues you catch. All right, so that's it, right? Short and sweet. I hit the reply button, not reply all unless I want the whole team to find out, everybody in the thread, and then you just hit send. And there you go. Got a little notification. There it is. All right, so I have a lot of emails here. A lot of emails. So something you might want to do, this is the next part of our menu, is manage folders. We're going to create custom folders. So how do we do this? Here you can see we have our folder section right under inbox. We have our draft, our sent, deleted. We'll talk about how to delete emails in a sec. Archive, notes, conversation history. Sometimes these have like a chat feature to them. Let's go ahead and create a new folder. So it works just like you would in File Explorer. You have to give it a name. I'm gonna call this Canvas. So now you have a folder to organize certain items. So I can like move some of these from my inbox into a particular folder. So for example, this one I might move to my Canvas folder. So how did I do that? So first I created the folder under that create new folder. Then you just click on any email and you'll see a little menu of options. You can always pull up more options, right, by clicking on the three dots here, three dots here. But the feature, the button to move things is actually very, very important. So they put it here as an actual tab button. So here you put move to, and then I move to Canvas. All right, there you go. Now this has been organized. So now this email, which is a Canvas email, has been moved into my Canvas folder. A little way to manage those incoming emails. Now, I would have to actually go and move all these emails, right? Maybe I look up my Canvas emails. So that's another feature, is the search bar. You can actually search for keywords out of the body, the subject line. You can search for recipients. For example, I can look up tech support, and I can see any emails I've sent to them. Let's see. Let's put Canvas. And any emails with the keyword of Canvas will be there. I can certainly select these all and move them all at the same time to Canvas. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it, though, is through email rules. And that's what we're going to be talking about next. Email rules is where you create a rule for the email so that it automatically does something with that email. There's all sorts of ways you can have those email rules triggered. Let's go ahead and do that now. So let's go inbox. And actually, I'm going to put that in the next video, part 3 of Outlook. So yeah, we'll go over how to move these things automatically into those folders. So you don't have to do it after it goes to your inbox. It'll automatically put it into the correct folder for you. So we'll cover that in the next part of the demo. And remember, after the demo will be email etiquette, and keep an eye out for some kind of assignment on how to be better at writing those professional emails.